Hey goal getters, welcome back to the Mental Perspective. My name is Jenna Weinstein, your mental strength and wellness coach and owner of Ripple Effect Performance. And actually, as you're watching this video, folks, I will just be wrapping up my second official powerlifting competition. And I thought this would be an awesome opportunity to take you all through the journey where I made the switch from competing in marathons to competing in powerlifting. Two very opposite ends of the physical training spectrum. However, the mental training side for both of these sports, not that different. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Let's get after it. So I've spoken to a lot of you outside of my channel, and so many people have asked me, what inspired you, Jenna, to run marathons? And then what inspired you to compete in powerlifting? Those are very completely different sports, and they are both crazy. Like, they are both extreme sports. And you're right. And maybe I am a little crazy deep down, but I don't really know why. I think I just like pushing myself physically and mentally. And I think marathon training and strength sport training like powerlifting, those are two really great sports to help a person really push themselves mentally and physically. And here's some story time for you folks. So I made the decision to run my first marathon in 2015. I decided to run in the Boston Marathon to raise funds, to raise awareness for a nonprofit that I used to work for called Journey Forward. And the way to raise these funds was to run in the Boston Marathon for them. So I knew what I was signing up for, but I didn't really know what I was signing up for. And I think I needed a little bit of that external motivation to push me to actually training for a marathon, because I knew I wouldn't have done it if I just said, like, I want to run a marathon. I needed to know that I was running it for a bigger cause, a bigger reason than myself. And not gonna lie, training for a marathon, not easy. Not easy. And I had run before training for a marathon. I had been running. But I think the most I had ever run without stopping, maybe 5-6 miles. And it's very different training for a marathon. I think the hardest part for me mentally with training for a marathon is after the halfway point. So after you reach the half marathon point, you still have another half marathon to go. And there are so many people that drop out of races and stop running races because the reality of the race really hits them. The reality of the distance hits them. And in my training, I hit that wall several times. There were several training runs that I had where I was coming up on mile 13, 14, 15, and I was like, why am I doing this? Why did I sign up for this? What's the point? Who needs to run this far? And it was in those training runs that I realized how to push myself even harder, because I knew that it wasn't about trying to run fast. It wasn't about trying to beat the person in front of me. I just kept telling myself, just keep moving. Just keep moving. And that's what helped me get through all those training runs. Just that mentality of, I have nothing to prove to anybody. I'm doing this for myself and for a bigger cause, something that's bigger than who I am. So all I have to do is keep moving. And after completing those really tough training runs, I realized it's really all in your head. Yeah, you have to be in a certain physical condition to actually run a marathon, but I realized you don't have to be that physically fit to tell yourself to keep moving. And that's what I try to tell people when they ask me how they can run a half marathon, a full marathon, or even like a 10K or a 5K. We get so overwhelmed by the total distance that we forget the most simple part of the actual race. Just keep moving. And if you keep moving, no matter the pace or the speed, you're going to finish. And I remember when I finished my first marathon, the Boston Marathon in 2016, I remember feeling so overwhelmed that I actually completed the race. And I looked around, and me, along with all the other runners, we all did the same thing when we crossed the finish line. We all had our hands up way over our head. Everybody was super emotional. And then we kind of like crossed the finish line and look around, and it's like, well, now what? Now what do we do? And in that moment, I said, well, I'm definitely not running a marathon again. Like, my feet hurt, my body hurt, I was tired. And sure enough, a couple months later, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to run it again. I think I'm going to run it again, because now I had proven to myself I can do really difficult things. I can push myself and my body can survive really difficult challenges. So I ran another marathon. I ran the New York City Marathon later that year in the fall. And I swore after that I wouldn't run another marathon, but I trained for a couple more half marathons. And I really enjoyed the training because the training is where I learned how to push myself more mentally. And I met more like-minded people. I became part of running groups and running communities where I met other people who just enjoyed running, and they taught me so much more about the sport of running. So I think that was the biggest lesson I learned, especially when it comes to like mental toughness, is some days it's not about PRing, it's not about running faster, it's just getting up and just learning how to keep moving, because not every day is going to be like an awesome day. But if you know how to channel that mentality to keep moving, you're going to be able to run any type of race that you put your mind to. So that's what marathon training has taught me. Now, what has powerlifting taught me, and how did I get into powerlifting from marathon running? Because that's a big swing in the other direction. Can we agree on that? And I've always been into strength training and weightlifting. I think I started weight training back when I was in high school. Like, I was 15, 16, and that was the first time that I really started learning how to lift weights. But I never became really competitive about it until later in life. Even when I played rugby, I weight trained a lot, but it was more to support playing rugby. And then I dabbled in CrossFit for a few years, and that definitely got me more into weight training. But there came a point about a year and a half ago where I was like, I really want to see how far I can push myself in the weightlifting, weight training spectrum. How far can I go? Because I know I'm strong, but how strong can I get? And so that's what kicked me off. I just wanted to see, what can I do? And originally, I just found a weight training program online and I took myself through it and I got a lot stronger. But it's not just a goal of mine to be strong. I want to be competitively strong. And that's what powerlifting has taught me, is you can get yourself really far on your own, but there's going to come a point, no matter what sport or activity you're interested in, you have to know when you've reached your own limits, when you are out of your depth and you need to ask for help from an expert or somebody who knows more than you. Because I think I know that I know a lot when it comes to weight training and weightlifting, but I don't know a lot when it comes to training specifically for powerlifting. And that was when the moment hit me that I need a coach. And having the right coach can take you so far. And that's what's been really helpful for me. That's a big thing that I learned with powerlifting, is when you're out of your depth, no pun intended, but when you're out of your depth, you got to know when you can call for assistance and call for support, because you're only going to get yourself so far on your own. And making the decision to get a coach, in my case, Josh Rohr, who coaches Team Rohr Powerlifting, he's taken me so far this last year. So he's helped my numbers go up in my squat, my bench, my deadlift, but he's helped my confidence go up too. Because there have definitely been days where I'm thinking, I don't know if I can go this heavy. And Josh is like, yes, you can. Just do it. And that's what having a coach really helps, for me at least, because there are so many days where I doubt myself, and there are so many days where I question my abilities. But having a coach or a supporter, somebody who knows that you can do things and they can tell you that you can do things, that's sometimes the extra boost of confidence that we need. And I don't just get that from my coach sometimes. I get that from my husband and my teammates as well. And that was the biggest lesson that I've learned about myself when it comes to strength training. Know when you need to ask for help. Know when other people can be the support that you need to push yourself a little farther. So I know that powerlifting and marathon training are completely different sports, but the mentality that you need for either of these sports is exactly the same. Marathon training taught me that I need to be able to just get up and keep moving every day. And that has definitely helped me in my powerlifting training, because there are definitely days where I don't feel like getting up and going, but I do it because I know that I can, and I know that it's gonna get me closer to where I wanna go. And powerlifting has taught me that there are gonna be days where I doubt myself, and I have to learn how to overcome that doubt and remember that there are people who believe in me and know that I can do great things. So I should believe in myself that I can do the great things that I want to do as well. And I've been applying those lessons not just to powerlifting, but everything I do in life, in my job, in running my business, in my marriage. I try to apply these lessons that I'm learning every day. So if you've been wondering, if you've been thinking about setting a really big goal, like trying to run a marathon or trying to test yourself in a new sport, just try it. Just start going. And remember, it doesn't have to be a big thing right away. Just start moving. Just get up and start moving a little bit each day. And maybe you might just need to find someone, an expert or a coach or a support system that can help you build some of that initial confidence to get over some of that initial doubt that you have. Those have been some of the biggest lessons that I've learned by participating in two very different sports. And I'm just so excited to see what else I can continue learning along this journey. So let me know in the comments below what lessons you've learned from some of the big sports or big activities that you've taken on in your lives. I'd love to hear what you've all learned. So if you've been liking and enjoying this video, let me know it. Let me see how you show it by hitting that thumbs up button right down below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, folks, because every time that you subscribe, an angel gets its wings and I create more content for you all. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel. And if you have not joined my Facebook community, be sure to do that. I'm going to leave a link in the description below so that you know how you can join my Facebook community, where I'm putting out daily content on how you can strengthen not just your physical, but your mental strength as well every day. And remember, folks, I'm here to bring you strategies and techniques that will help you strengthen your mindset, which will lead to you achieving more goals, which will lead to being more successful in life. Because that's what the ripple effect is, folks. So let's start your ripple effect today.